if you'd like some tips on if you're a writer who wants to make your own audiobooks at some point, you're just interested in the process of recording, narrating, and editing audiobooks, or if you just want to get a free preview of the next audiobook that I will be coming out with, releasing of my own work, keep watching. Hello, my beautiful friends. It is time for us to do a new vlog. We've done a vlog before. I showed you guys like behind the scenes of taking my artwork to an art festival. And so this vlog's going to be a little bit different on the other side of the coin because I'm also an indie author and I do all the narrating, recording, and editing of my own audiobooks. I do all of my own audiobook production. Not many authors can say that, so I'm proud to be one of them. And let me tell you guys, it's a lot of work. But if you are interested in doing it yourself, I'm going to show you kind of the process. If you just want to see, if you're just interested in the process in general, I'm going to show you a lot of behind the scenes takes and stuff. But like I said, it ain't easy, and you're about to see how much work it really, really is. But I'm going to break down the process for you, give you some insights. Hopefully you can maybe appreciate for people who do narration, audiobook narration, people who are maybe audio engineers, and just all of the super duper hard, intense work that goes into making a full audiobook. But like I said, this is going to be like a vlog-like format, so I'm going to physically take you into my little recording booth with me. However, here's the thing. The audio booth setup I have is very homemade. I will say that. It is literally homemade. It's not cute, you guys. It's not meant to be pretty. It's not meant to be cute. This is why I really don't tend to show behind the scenes footage. But I wanted to this time because I'm going into recording my final audiobook, the final book in my Emma Lenford series, which I've been working on for like, I want to say over 10 years at this point. Almost exactly 10 years, because I started it when I was in high school, and I think it was, it's been like 10 years ago now. So this is a really big deal, and I wanted to kind of capstone it somehow, so we're going to do it with this vlog. But like I said, I'm going to take you into my booth. I'm going to show you a little tour of the booth. Just an FYI in advance, please don't judge how it looks, because like I said, it's made for functionality. It's not made to be pretty or cute, and it's very crafty. As you'll see, I'll show you, take you around the booth, and then I'm going to probably record a little bit on my phone here. I'll record. You guys can see a little bit behind the scenes of me actually reading part of the book and how that actually goes with the narration part. So here we're going to start. Like I already said, you guys, please don't judge how things look, because it's very, it's something. So to start off with, before we even enter the booth, which I will say just in advance, and this is humorous too, that this booth is in my parents' basement, just saying. It's the other half of my art studio. I have like my art studio like you just saw behind me with all the paintings on the wall. That's the pretty half of the studio. This is the other half that I don't ever show on camera because it's not the most eye-catching thing in the world. But yes, I have an Adventure Time blanket that is literally pinned to the ceiling, okay? But I have 2 layers of blankets here. I have that one, and then I have this older pink one that used to be in my car. But I have these 2. There is a reason for this, although these are pinned to the ceiling because this is all meant to block out excess noise, right? So if we kind of pull back the curtains, you will immediately see this is my booth. Like I said, not the most prettiest thing. You're probably like, what is all this crap on the wall? Again, let me explain what I mean. This is so crafty, you guys. But this is how you can make your own homemade booth. I'm serious. It's super funny. Just have a laugh with me. But I literally have these like age-old pillows that are older than I am. I can't say that word right. Sorry. Pillows that are, again, I have these push-pinned into the wall. And again, I needed padding against the wall because you guys, let's be serious for a second. A smooth surface is going to reflect, it's going to echo off all your sound and everything really bad. That's why you need to have some sort of padding on the wall to physically block that. So, to keep the booth from echoing and stuff. Now, let's address the giant elephant in the room here. This is a giant queen-size mattress. Yes. This is literally an old queen-size mattress, again, probably older than I am, that is hooked into the ceiling. Alright, there's 2 hooks. My dad helped me hook this into the ceiling. This was a mattress we were literally just going to throw out, and I said this would work great to make my booth. So we, as you can see here with these little hook things all the way up there, we put one there and there, and we literally hooked it into the ceiling, like drilled holes in the ceiling and hooked that in. You obviously may not be able to do that, especially if you're like renting someplace and you don't want to mess with the walls. Put holes in the walls, put holes in the ceiling. You can always just lay the mattress like up against a wall, like over here. You can make a smaller booth, like if you had some sort of mattress here. Maybe even your own bed mattress if you don't have an extra mattresses in excess. If you don't have an excess stash of mattresses, you could always just like use one from your bed. I'm serious, you guys. Just use whatever mattress you have on your bed while you're recording, flip it up against the wall, and you can literally just like throw a blanket over your head. It works great for audio recording. You don't need a whole big fancy like professional booth setup. You really don't. As you can tell, as what I'm working with. You can also see that I just had some extra pillows. Pillows, again, I cannot say that word. And every time I go to say that word, when I am audiobook recording, there are certain words that I, in my weird hillbilly-ish accent, that I don't say the words right. So that when I'm recording it, I don't realize that I'm saying them in my accent. And so oftentimes I have to go back and re-record those parts because I say pillow. I say pillow. You say pillow. I say pillow. And yeah, so those are some things that comes up when I'm reading. I don't realize that at the time. I have to go back and re-record, or I have to be mindful going in saying I've got this word coming up. I know I need to pay attention and really enunciate it. But anyway, aside from that, this is the front wall and the blanket. This is actually, this is like insulation stuff. It's kind of like a type of styrofoam. That it's noise reducing insulation that goes under wood flooring. And I know this because, again, I helped my dad when we redid the wood flooring in my parents' house a couple years ago. I helped him install the flooring, and this was some of the stuff. He put this under all the wood planks, and so I saved a chunk of it that was going to, again, get thrown out. I saved a chunk of it because it is made to soften noise. So sometimes I just leave it here in the corner. But sometimes I can maneuver it around if there is noise going on outside this room. I can move that piece around to kind of block out that noise. Again, these are items you may not obviously have noise canceling foam insulation for wood floors laying around, but things that are similar like that you just kind of find laying around, it's especially the pillows. The pillows. Like, these are things you might have extra pillows laying around. You might be able to pick some up at like Goodwill or something, even couch cushions, that sort of thing. You can just kind of line them up around your space. They don't have to be pinned into the wall like what I do. I've also got over here on my actual desk, this is just styrofoam with little dents in it, which is great. Not straight, smooth styrofoam. You don't want like a flat surface of any kind when you're doing your work. But if it's something that's not completely straight, you can use that. I usually just set these two here. I think these are actually the styrofoam padding blocks that came with the microphone that I got. So I can also let you know about my microphone. My microphone, I believe it's called the Blue Snowball, and it came with this pop filter. But it was kind of not a super duper cheap, but also not really. I mean, it was pretty inexpensive. I want to say it was in like the 60 to 80, maybe like $85 range when I got it. I got it quite a few years ago, so they might be, prices inflate. It might be more now. I also might have got it on sale. But make sure you do invest in like a high quality microphone if you ever want to do audiobooks. And of course, this plugs right into my laptop over here, which is what I will read off of and record on. And I also got my handy dandy water here. Make sure you keep your voice hydrated at all times while you're recording. I typically start out with water. Halfway through the day's recording process, I will stop and I will go get tea. Hot tea is great for keeping your voice all in order. But aside from that, I can show you the rest of the booth over here. I tried to spruce it up a little bit. I really did. So I put it like in the corner over here, which this area doesn't really affect the sound too much because it's farther away from the microphone. But again, I'm trying to block so it's not a completely flat wall behind here, I've got some... This was actually, I believe, an old door, like a sliding pantry door. Again, it used to be in the house, but a long time ago when they renovated, they put a new door in and just kept this one laying around just because. And I used to use this in my displays at craft shows and art shows, like in the other vlog that I showed you guys. I used to bring and use this, and I would put like push pins in here or nails, and that's the way I would hang like my paintings up on here and display them at the craft shows and at the Ferris festivals, all the shops and stuff. But I don't really tend to take it anymore because it is kind of heavy and it's like difficult to lug around. So I brought it in here and I thought I would kind of spruce things up. I did paint it purple. It wasn't purple to begin with. I did that to go with my theme of my branding when I did do the craft shows and stuff. But I have since added little quote cards that I printed of different quotes from all of my Emma Lenford books. And actually, I think from like the first 2 books, because I haven't printed any since then. But very humorous quotes, so you can get a taste of what this book is going to be like. It's going to be really funny, you guys. I'm so excited for you to listen in to the recording I'm going to do today. Also over here, we have jail bars. Yes. Another memento from the Emma Lenford world. This was used in my short film that I did based on the Emma Lenford books, which I will definitely link that in a card up above and in the description below for you to check out. Very, very funny. I love doing that short film. I did that with my best friend Maddie, who is a filmographer. And we just did it for fun, just a little project for us to both work on together. But it's based on my books, and it's really, really funny. It was really fun to do. And of course, the jail bars are from a couple of different scenes. I had to fashion these jail bars out of the rolls that are used for like wrapping paper, like Christmas wrapping paper and stuff. And then I glued them to, this is an old, well, a spare wood plank. If you look like on the underside of it, you can probably, well, maybe not since it's really dark in here. But it is a wood, like, floor plank that we had left over from, again, when the floor was done. And so I just glued these on there. And then I spray painted the whole thing gray. So it looked like jail bars, and it worked really good for the film. And then aside from that, down here, so you can probably see, I've got another mattress. So many spare mattresses laying around, I tell you. Aside from that, we got it all covered. So I have already, oh, and of course this desk I did cover with an old blanket. That's another important thing because I didn't want a flat wooden desktop that would again reflect sound off of it. So padding your space is really, really important. That's one of my top tips. My other tip is make sure you invest in a really good microphone. It doesn't have to be super expensive, but just something really high quality. Now, I have already started reading a lot of the chapters in this next book. So I'm just going to read today. I'm going to continue on, and I will show you guys an excerpt of me reading just a little bit. I wanted to find a spot that I could read to you guys without, any spoilers involved so that you can go ahead and enjoy checking me out as I do my narration today. However, just then, a meaty hand grabbed me by my left shoulder. At the same time, I shot my head toward Colonel Strander's, and I immediately shut myself up. Once I realized that he was pulling me in close and starting to press the barrel of his weapon of choice right up to, the very side of my very head. Nah, listen here. Listen here, he snapped, spitting in the direction of the shaded lady now. You go on and get all the Benjis out of that there drawer for me. Or else I'm gonna blow this here city slicker straight to Kingdom Come and Go. I gulped, my body frozen, and my hands instinctually thrown up, straight out from my sides. And then I exchanged a look with the banker, who didn't move an inch, except to push her glasses all the way up the brim of her wide-set nose. Now, what was that? Oh my gosh. Now, she asked, raising a hand to cup around one ear. Colonel Stranders, while he held my arm, coughed, and a good 15 millimeters of his milliliters, sorry. And a good 15 milliliters of his saliva hit my cheek, making me wince. Oh, the banshees, he repeated. Right now. I felt a drip roll down my forehead, either from a result of my fast sweating or the spittle I had just had delivered to my face. At the same moment, the woman in front of us leaned forward, just slightly, and began to croak in the back of her throat, breathing deeply in and out once, then twice, then a full 5 more times, filling the nearly silent space around us. Or, really, it would have been silent aside from the sounds of a ticking clock against the far wall, a chorus of laughter coming from behind a door on the near right, and a flickering of screams belonging to a handful of children discovering fresh human urine on an orange plastic slide. I'm sorry, I like this part. Okay, get it together. Note aside, sometimes I have to stop to laugh at my own jokes as I read them, because I forget the jokes that I wrote in the book, and it's very funny, so sometimes you just have to laugh at yourself. Okay. And a flickering of screams belonging to a handful of children discovering fresh human urine on an orange plastic slide at the recently uncondemned Badonkadick Family Memorial Park, just outside the bank's vacant drive-up window behind the lady's head of rusty-colored curls. I stuttered out, breaking my own silence. Hundreds, lady, hundreds! Oh! The banker started to nod, but then she stopped to chew on her bottom lip, where it became noticeable that her overly glossy red lipstick was visibly smeared over her top teeth. Well, we don't have any more hundreds on hand, so... Well, I snapped back, tensing my outstretched hands into fists now. How about all those 500s we were discussing earlier, huh? Remember, the ones I said I just wanted to see if they even exist within, existence? The lady shook her head, and a small wad of hair, which was bright white and definitely not hers, fell out of her curls and landed in a heap on the shoulder of her multicolored blazer. No, we don't have the... Oh my God, lady! I started to raise my voice, then looked, just in the corner of my eyes, over at the gum pressed against the side of my face. Can't you see the predicament I'm in here? The woman coughed, without covering her mouth either, and about 5 trillion bacterial microorganisms splattered from her mouth to my eyes. Sorry, but I really can't, she stated, fiddling with the edges of her glasses just for a split second, before she pulled them down to reveal her, extremely advanced cataracts. I haven't seen much of anything since 1991. Okay, so this is literally the magic potion right here. This is my hot tea. Well, it's a little bit cool now because I've been drinking it. It's been getting a little bit chilly, but with my mug, my favorite type of tea is chai. So of course I made a mug that says to drink chai on it because and it's pictures of me and my friends from high school era. But anyway, that was just an excerpt, just a small excerpt, you guys, of the recording I did today. I read a total of 12. I might have actually done more than I might have miscalculated and marked out 15 pages to read and stuff. Typically, it's really difficult for me to go and read a lot of pages at once. In an ideal world, Most people would probably read like one chapter at a time, even more if their chapters are really short, but my chapters are really long. Because the way I wrote this whole series, every book in this series, is everything is like, each chapter is like its own short story, right? So like each chapter is like a short story that stands on its own, but they're each really, really long. I think my average is about 7,000 words per chapter, which is not like unheard of, but it is pretty long. Sometimes up to 10,000 or more words per chapter, which is a lot. So my goal is I mark out, it used to be with my other books, I would do like 10 pages max at a time was my max limit. This time I'm pushing myself to do 12 at a time, because this total book is like 120 some pages, so I figured if I did 12 pages a day, it would take me 10 days to read the whole book. But this book is a little bit shorter than all my other ones. It's the last book in the series, like I said. I just finished writing it not that long ago. I have not published the full ebook yet because I'm waiting. I've never done this before. I want to publish the ebook and the audiobook at the same time. I've never been able to do that before. I'm really trying to do it this time. It's just the audiobook process, it takes so long, you guys. Usually it takes me even longer. Sometimes it can take me months to read a book because I've got other things going on and I don't have the time to sit down and read. This time I am really committing to it. This time I'm really going to commit to it, and my goal is to get it done pretty quickly so that I can publish the ebook and the audiobook at the same time for all of you dear readers. Until then, we're going to drink chai, and I will show you the editing process next in this vlog when I get to that part. I'm still obviously going to finish reading all the pages first. As you can probably already tell, it's a lot of character voices in these books that I do. Of course, that's not the case for everybody. Very rarely is it the case for anybody. That's just the way I like to write, and so when I want to read it, I want to make it really stand out. So I really like to use my voice, and that's why my voice is, I'm kind of losing it right now because I just finished reading for today and my voice is a little shot at this point, which is why we gotta drink the tea. But I love doing different voices, different character voices, different accents, just so many different vocalizations and things because it is a humorous book and that's the way I want to portray it. But if you are someone who would be interested in making your own audiobooks, especially if you are an author or a self-published author like me, I would really recommend take care of your voice. You know, it's something that a lot of people overlook, especially if you're not like a professional narrator or anything like that's not what you do all the time. It's just something you do for yourself, for your own books. You really got to take care of your voice, which is why the hot tea is a really great idea. If you don't like tea, just drink hot water or coffee, something like that. Just a hot drink. It'll really soothe your throat. Also ice cream. You can have ice cream or like smoothies, milkshakes, something later to cool it down. But while you're reading, have something really hot. And then later on, you can kind of recover. It's kind of like how athletes have to recover after a workout and work their muscles. Your voice is a muscle. So you have to, you know, get it nice and warmed up before I actually start reading. I didn't show you guys this, but I should have showed you. I do some vocal warm-ups. I do I do that, and then I do some things that I learned when I was in choir in school that we would do. Mama made me mash my M&Ms, oh my! But I do it a little bit different every time. Mama made me mash my M&Ms, oh my! Because there's a lot of tongue twisters in this book, and I have to read things a little bit fast sometimes for my character voices. But different vocalization warm-ups, they seem really silly, but it really helps you get your voice. You want your voice to be nice and warm. But I said I usually make my tea about halfway through my reading for the day or getting close to the end because the warm, it re-lubricates the vocals. It re-lubricates the vocal cords. I know it sounds so weird, but really got to take care of your voice if you want to read your own audiobooks.
Alright, so it is a little bit sunny out here, yes. So I'm going to be switching gears today. I am kind of recovering. If you can tell, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I had a very, very terrible cold this last week. And so that kind of paused my audiobook recording a bit. A little bit difficult to record an audiobook when you don't have a voice. So I was actually, I know I was really frustrated. I only had one chapter left to record. And I came down with this terrible, terrible sore throat. And like instantly the next morning I woke up, I couldn't speak. And I was like, great. So I only have one chapter left to record, but switching gears anyway, I've been switching gears the past few days into editing mode. So I'm going to show you a little bit of behind the scenes of how I edit things. And this is the part that definitely takes the longest. I always like to say my estimate is for every 1 hour of completed audio, it took me at least 3 hours to edit it. The most important thing is for me to eliminate any bad audio. Usually, like you guys saw when I was recording, I usually do double takes of certain lines if I feel like I might have to get the better line. So a lot of the editing is splicing that all together into one, cohesive chapter that you can actually listen to straight through. So a lot of it is editing, deleting things, moving things around, trying to pick out the best line. And then I will also make notes and marks in the actual file if there are certain pieces that I need to re-record again. And then every once in a while, there are some really funny outtakes that I will take, and I will copy and paste those into a different file that I can make an outtakes chapter at the very end. I love doing those. But we're going to go ahead, and since it's such a lovely day outside today, we're going to go ahead and do some editing outside today.
Immediately, I let out a painfully high-pitched shriek, tossed the wad of crumpled low-density polyethylene into the pool of molded high-density polypropylene spheres, and spun a full 180 on my heels to face the one individual I had thought I'd seen the last of approximately 9 months and 9 days ago, when she announced she was moving downstate to attend the Certified Nursing Assistant program at Madison Technology Community University. Oh my God. She pushed one curly blonde strand of hair behind one diamond-pierced ear. What are you doing here, Emma? I blinked at the sequin-studded shirt that Stella Anderson was wearing. Not getting paid enough to fund a 401k, that's for sure, I answered. Stella giggled, then flipped her pink floral skater skirt side to side for a moment. Oh, Emma. She shook her head out, but then lowered her eyebrows and flung a pointer finger at one of my eyeballs. Ew, what happened to your face? Did you try one of those Korean exfoliation masks? I winced and stepped back from her nail before it could scratch my cornea. No, I sidestepped one more time as her finger followed me. Am having an allergic reaction to the Lyme disease prevention medication we all had to take after graduation day last year. Alright, so another important detail of making an audiobook, any audiobook, of course, is also making the cover art, which is what I'm working on here today, and I just wanted to show you guys a little bit behind the scenes of this as well. I know it's not like, the technical audio, but this is more the fun part, I guess. Some people, of course, authors, book publishers, etc., will hire out somebody else to do the book cover. Most authors usually hire somebody else to do their book covers. Not always. So what I actually do, because you guys probably already know this from being here with me on my channel a lot, that I am also an artist as well as being an author. So I take pride in doing absolutely all of my own book covers every single time. Super duper proud and glad to say that I can do that. So of course, because like I already said to you guys earlier, I wanted to release my full ebook and audiobook at the same time, so I hadn't even made the cover art for my ebook yet. Typically, I will take the cover art that I use for the ebook and then turn that into the cover art for the audiobook as well, so they match. Here's like an example of the first book in my Emma Lenford series. Of course, this was the ebook over here. This was the ebook cover version. And then when I went to make the audiobook based on that later on, of course, I just used pretty much the same idea, same design. Something to note, though, hello, here's my hand. The ebook or like physical hard copy books typically have a cover that is longer than it is wide, like a typical book cover. Audiobooks pretty much always have a square exactly rectangular square. Exactly square, I mean. Not rectangular like this. An exact square of a cover. So that's really important to note. If you're someone who is interested in doing your own book covers, and it is pretty easy now, I'll show you, especially with the software I use. I just use Canva, which a lot of people use Canva. It's actually really easy to make your own book covers now. Nowadays, it's really simple. They give you templates and stuff if you don't want something super intricate. But it's also very important to note that if you do want to make your own audiobooks, you guys, that you do have a square cover for the audiobook as opposed to the traditional book cover for your other book. So here I can even show you guys, like, this is all 4 of the previous audiobook covers that I did for my previous audiobooks in this series. Like, here's my first one you guys just saw. It's the purple cover. I like to do, obviously, I do different eye designs like I've got going on. Here is my sketch for the eye design on the new cover today. I just sketched this a little bit ago. And then I'm going to show you how I edit it in Canva and kind of turn it into like a digital format. But here we have like my first cover that I did, that I did sketch all the eyes for all these. The sketch and the eye design here. Basically each cover, because I want them to be cohesive and that they all kind of come together and you can tell that they're a part of the same book series. That's really important if you do write book series. But that's just a whole nother topic for another day, talking about book cover designs and such, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it aside from just if you've got a series that you want to match. There's things like genre and your audience and a lot of different things that go into making a really good book cover. But for my series, I just want you to notice that I try to make it all matchy-matchy. Matchy-matching. So each cover I do with a different set of eyes, different eye expression that I think kind of matches the book itself. And then I just pick a random color, honestly, for each one. I tried to pick colors that were kind of pastel for this series just because I thought that that would look really pretty. I was always looking forward to the end. I know I've been writing this series for a really long time, quite a few years, but I was always looking forward to the end of the series, and I wanted each book to, you know, be part of the series and really match the others as I was going, that they would look really good together. So for our first cover, of course, we had the classic eye roll with the purple background. Just simple. And of course, your covers, you guys, simple is sometimes better. Complicated is not always key. Simplicity often is the way to go with book covers, so that people can really see and recognize and look at that cover and know kind of the general, like the genre, of course, if it's in a series, and just the feel of the book, right? Just the feel of the book. So here's the second one that I absolutely love this title. What the Luck. It's so clever. I was so, like, pat myself on the back for that one. And this is the blue with the wide eyes. The wide, you know, like, surprised eyes expression. The third book in the series, What Would Emma Lenford Do?, is a little bit more contemplative. A little bit like, what would she do, you know? With the green, like a nice minty green almost background. The fourth one in the series, What's Luck Got to Do with Emma Lenford? Because, of course, the whole series is about bad luck, so I did reuse the word luck in two of the titles as well, because, again, it's about creating that cohesive series that all fits, like, really nice, like you can knit it together. And, of course, this is the one with the really, really light orange tannish hue with kind of the eyes, like the side eye look. So, if you guys are ready, Allie, you want to come here and help? This is going to be a bit of a cover reveal moment. Yes, let's have a little bit of a cover reveal. Beautiful, right? This is a little bit, of course, I'm probably going to edit this design a little bit more. Like I told you guys, I'm working in Canva right now. And I might edit this a little bit more before I finalize it and turn it into an audiobook cover as well. But this is probably going to be the general idea for the design for this book. And yes, of course, title reveal 2, Whatever Happened to Emma Lenford, is going to be the final book in the Emma Lenford series. And of course, we went with a little bit of a winky eye moment this time, with a little bit of a pinkish background, kind of a watermelon color is what I was going for. What do you think about it, Miss Elle?
I think she likes it. She is chewing on her foot. Okay, you're having a chewy foot moment. Alright, good to know. Good girl. Good girl. That's that so far. Like I said, I might make some minor edits to it as we go along here. What? But like I said, this is me working in Canva. What I like about Canva is it just makes it really easy to... Ellie is licking my arm, that's why the camera is shaking. Makes it really easy to add text and edit my original sketch design and turn it into something that I can draw on top of and make it really pop. Okay, that was not supposed to happen. Okay, I'm making lines. Oh my goodness, Ellie, you're messing me up here, girl. Y'all know Miss Owl had to make an appearance in the vlog. Our sweet pup. Yeah.
Okay, so exciting, you guys. Just a few more steps left to finish up the audiobook. I've been hard at work on it for quite a few days, as you can tell. My sickness has finally healed itself by this point. So I've gotten all of the chapters edited, marked, ready to go. I did some re-recording in the spots that I marked where I needed to. And now all that's left is a final listen through. I get to listen to my own audiobook, the most relaxing, but sometimes relaxing part. It's not always the most fun to listen to yourself talk for hours and hours, if you know what I'm saying, but it's part of the process. And then after that, all I have left to do is record like the intro and the outro sections and some author's notes, which I think I'm going to maybe take you behind the scenes of that next.
Author's notes. Okay, so we're actually going to do something a little bit different this time, you guys. Because this is the final book in the entire Emma Lenford series, I wanted to do something a little bit special, a little bit different this time. So I am going to be releasing both the ebook and the audiobook at exactly the same time. Same date, same time. Now, of course, as you listen to this, it may be well past that time by now, but just know that I was thinking ahead when I was making this book this time, okay? I planned ahead this time. And because I planned so far ahead, you guys, typically I do separate author's notes for the ebook version, and then I write and record a different version of author's notes for the audiobook version. However, because I am recording this before the ebook even drops, and because I want to do both simultaneously, I'm going to do something different. I am going to read to you all the author's notes that I have written for the ebook version, because this is such a special little book to me, and I do think that at the end of the series, I wrote my author's notes so well for the end of the ebook, so I just want to read it all to you here in the audiobook as well. So here we go. Let's see how it goes. You guys, they brought the Hamburger Helper single cups back. They did, seriously. I'm even eating one from my hoard of 65 as I type and drip melted faux cheese all over the keyboard right now. Oh, yeah, see, I did that when I was typing. I just told you I typed this before, and now our timeline is all messed up because as I'm recording it, I'm not eating a cup, and I didn't plan that far ahead. So I guess in lieu of actually eating one as I'm reading this page I've got here in front of me, how about I just make the sounds that your mouth kind of makes when you eat Hamburger Helper? That was bad. I apologize. That was bad. But anyway, let's continue reading here. Oh, and also, yes, we just put the final words of Emma Lenford's tale down in virtual ink. Emma Lenford has been such an important part of my life up until this very moment. And if you're reading this, I guess / listening to this, I have a very strong feeling that she's been very special to you, in italics, too, dear reader.
Her humor and wit have certainly helped me get through some very tough times over the years, and I dearly hope she has done the very same for you all. But you can probably reread this book and find a lot of discrepancies in my timeline because I just ain't good with dates, y'all. So, note to my publisher, please don't ever make me write a historical or futuristic fiction novel. And, FYI, I'm self-published. Now, really, to all of my fellow readers, I, as always, want to thank you the most for taking the time, effort, and sheer interest in reading about Emma's luckless life. Because I would not be able to find the motivation to finish her story without thinking about how much you all mean to me. And I am so, so grateful for that. And, as always, Gracie Hart, aka Miss Congeniality, would be proud of you. Okay, you guys. That part always gets slightly emotional for me. That's why I save the author's notes to write until the it's the very last thing I do in the audiobook process, especially since this is my last book. It's just sort of like a capstone moment that it just puts it all together and it like ties off the bow on the top. I just love doing that at the very end so much because it feels so rewarding. So rewarding for me. Now, aside from that, of course, I'm not completely done yet. Now I got to finalize that chapter up. I'll just splice it together and do a little bit of edits on it. And then, of course, after that, it's going to be time to upload all of these files, put it all together in a little package, and get it ready for the release date. So, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. Yay! Audiobook has reached completion! What do you say to that, Elle? Yay! So, the audiobook is going to be published in live August 9th of 2025, which just happens to be my niece's birthday. I always like to do that with my publication dates. I always try to make it, like a special date. Not that I will maybe remember it that way, but just to make it a little bit even more extra special. So, of course, by the time you guys are watching this, I'm sure it'll be well past that date, and you will be able to, of course, get a copy of the audiobook. Of course, if you haven't listened to or read any of the Emma Lenford series, I highly, highly recommend you do so. And if you haven't at all, of course, I'm going to put all the links to get the audiobook, the brand new audiobook, in the description below. And if you haven't even checked out the series at all yet, you can actually get started for free with reading and listening the very first ebook audiobook in the entire series. It's free. Of course, I'll leave the link below in the description if you haven't already looked in the description by this point in the video to see that link and to get that downloaded for yourself. So I'm super duper excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a pretty long vlog. If you skipped around a little bit, totally fine. But yeah, let me know if you'd like to know more of like my writing process, some more behind the scenes things, and even more in depth if you want like maybe tutorials on how to actually step by step how to make an audiobook yourself, or just a book in general. I don't know. Self-publishing tips, anything like that. Thank y'all so much, so much for watching, and I hope to see y'all again later. Woohoo! We're all excited for audiobook completion! Yay! It's a puppy kitty party! Oh yeah, we're having so much fun! Oh boy.